When someone in a family is incarcerated, the whole family is incarcerated. That's according to Rochester resident Precious Bedell. Advocating for the families and children of those behind bars is what you could call a life mission for Bedell, who is the founder and director of Turning Points Resource Center. The nonprofit, operating out of St. Stephen's Episcopal Church on Chili Avenue, provides information to families of inmates, in addition to reentry support for prisoners returning to society. Joining me now to share more is Precious Bedell, and welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So I want to start with the why. Why did you believe this was an imperative thing, a center for you to launch in our community?
Well, two things. First of all, I just want to say to you that we no longer call people inmates and prisoners. Some people still do, but in order to diminish the stigma and the stereotyping, we say people who are inside of prisons or jail or incarcerated, and instead of saying prisoners, we say formerly incarcerated or people who are inside. And we say that again to reduce the stigma. So that's why I started this work, okay? There was there was this moment in corrections when the New York State stopped providing transportation to the prisons in upstate New York and downstate New York. And at the time we had like 72 state prisons, and people really relied on the buses to take them to visit their families. And the research reflects that when people are visited by their families and reunited with their families and have that support, the recidivism rates are really lowered. So I started Turning Points to provide those resources for people, but also I wanted to examine the pathologies in the families that may have led to that incarceration. Interesting.
Talk to me a little bit about, just in terms of, I mentioned this in the intro, you said when someone is incarcerated, a family, the whole family is incarcerated.
Absolutely.
Explain what you mean by that.
And particularly with women incarcerated, because women are going to prison now faster than men. They're not more, but they're coming faster. They have a different gendered pathway from childhood sexual abuse, child abuse, and involvement in drugs and intimate partner relationships because of this trauma. So this trauma that they suffer puts a lot of strain on the whole family. And when a mother's incarcerated, her children are incarcerated. When a father's incarcerated, his wife is incarcerated, his children are incarcerated, his family's incarcerated, because people have to take long trips to prisons or jails that are way out of the way in rural counties to visit, and are subjected to being strip searched and a lot of things that makes them really feel like they've committed a crime as well. And if they don't know the policies and procedures, they can go to a prison maybe 5 minutes before visiting is over. They may have traveled 8 hours and they're turned away. So that's why we opened this center.
Precious, talk a little bit about, because I want to make sure that we have the time to do this. Talk about what Turning Points does. What do you do?
Okay. Now, what Turning Points does mostly is support. Okay, it's a support system for families who have people incarcerated. It is a prison ministry, and I was not able to do a lot with it like it was. But I was fortunate to get a grant with a project that I'm working with at the university. So we applied for this grant. It's a project called the Rochester Prison Decarceration Research Initiative. We're going to have to change that name, but it's a long name. But a great guy, professor by the name of Josh Dubler, he's the one that sort of instituted that, and they go to prisons, some of our people, and teach in prisons. And he and I teach a course on River Campus called Incarceration Nation. So we applied for this grant, and my part of the grant gives me some seed money to do some research with the families, you know, other than just provide, you know, some of the things that they really need, like they need transportation monies, they need monies to help with food packages, they need someone to call and talk with, they need information on the prison system. They also need information about lawyers to help them, about the public defender's office, about the length of sentencing and that sort of thing, and the visiting rules and regulations. So it's like a resource center that looks at all of the prisons. We have all of the resources there. They change sometimes, so we have to keep them current. But now I have seed money enough to hire someone to help me with that.
You said when a mother is incarcerated, the child is incarcerated too, and it's estimated that 2.7 million kids in our country have a parent in prison or jail. So that's about 1 in every 28. Now, you told me, I know Turning Point's recently announced kind of this renewed mission, still focused on families, but with this extra effort focused on children. Talk to me a little bit about the work to target kids and support them.
Well, I want to target the children and give them opportunities to not only visit with their mother or their father, but also to engage them in activities outside of their homes, other than, you know, some kids don't have the resources to have a ballet lesson, a piano lesson, you know, to go to a park. You know, they might not have anyone to take them there. So we want to make sure they have, you know, resources to get a big brother or a big sister to help them. You know, so that's part of it. And also to mend the relationship with the mother and the child. Children are angry when their parents go to prison, rightfully so. So they need the counseling, they need that therapeutic value of speaking with their mothers and being able to say to them, Mom, I'm really mad at you, you made a mistake, or either, you know, what's going on, because some people are innocent in prison. But most of the time, women go to prison for using drugs. And the war on drugs has increased the number of women incarcerated. And also a lot of the federal programs that whole 8 years that we have reduced for mothers and children, you know, that helped women start to participate in subsistent illegal strategies to survive. So to make ends meet, you know, they start to sell drugs and then they start to use drugs. And it's just a vicious cycle. And I really don't want my children or their children or anyone's children to have to repeat their mother's mistake.
And before we close, I want to point out you also work on in terms of helping those reenter society. Right. And I want to make sure that we close on this note. What are the challenges faced by families and those reentering their communities that people should be aware of? Right.
We want Turning Points to be that bridge. Okay, that healthy bridge that people, when their families are released, that the family is also, you know, the family has resources for them. We have resources for them. So we want to have facilitators to the barriers of housing, employment, of getting a license. People sometimes get advanced degrees in incarceration, some of them, you know, they don't have a lot of it anymore. And they come home and that stigma of checking that box. So we've done a lot of work around having that question, that damaging question taken off the box. So we want Turning Points to be one of the bridges. It's not a solution to what's going on, but there is a window, Helene, of opportunities that's going around. People are looking at incarceration and are saying it doesn't work. It really doesn't work. We're going to have to rethink the criminal justice system. And as a good friend of mine in the legal system says, Precious, we just have to be creative.
Very good. We have to close for now, but Precious, thank you for your time, and thank you also for the work that you're doing in our community. To learn more about Turning Point's Resource Center or to support this work, call 585-328-0856.